Special, 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 special. That's all I got to say. Special, pure hoops in full effect. Special times. It's always a beautiful, beautiful time. It's always a beautiful, beautiful time when we get to witness pure hoops. When we get to witness in the game of basketball, elite level shot making ability, when we get to witness creation ability, separation ability, when we get to witness two teams going at it offensively. And I knew that this game was going to be special. I knew that was going to take my attention away from football. I knew that with the Cowboys struggling, I knew I was going to have to turn on and watch the Indiana Fever, and they were going to make me happy because I've been so disappointed in the Dallas Cowboys and how they got their ass kicked. But that's here nor there. This is not a football channel. This is a basketball channel, so we're going to be talking about pure hoops. But pure hoops was in full effect and display watching the Indiana Fever and Dallas Wings. And once again, Arike, Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, they were getting busy. They were getting active, especially from the three-point line. And it was fun to watch. It was very exciting. It was a show. And then every time the Fever and the Dallas Wings, they play and they match up, you get a show. You get something exciting. But Caitlin Clark is something we have not seen before. When we talk about one-on-one, when we talk about impact, when we talk about a bucket getter, a generator, she's the best generator in WNBA history. I know I've said that multiple times already, but the truth don't need no support, and it was phenomenal. That game had everything that you wanted as a fan. High power offense, crazy shot making ability, all of your stars playing and hooping and competing at the highest level. And we just saw the Dallas Wings, Shelby with 26, Shelby with 24, Howard with 26, Arike with 27. Also made 5 threes on the game. They combined for 77 points. And normally that is enough to win a game. But when you just witness the best WNBA backcourt in Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark go to work, Kelsey Mitchell with 30 points. Caitlin Clark with 35 points. They combined for 65 points and 11 threes. That is pure hoops. That is pure hoops. Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell combined for 65 points and combined for 11 threes. They are the best backcourt in the WNBA without question, without doubt. And this game was exciting. Arike, the quickest ever to 4,000 points. Caitlin Clark set a new season high for points scored in a game with 35. She was on a mission. And if you was watching her before she got on the court, you just knew she had that rhythm going because she was not missing it in warm-ups. The pregame, she was on fire. She was lighting up. She was stroking it. And that backcourt is so electric. And when those two are going and those two are clicking, they are really dominant. They are really lethal. They are pure hoops. They are something that if you're not a fan of basketball and you clicked on a WNBA game and you watch these women play in Kelsey Mitchell, in Caitlin Clark, in Arike, you will leave out becoming a fan of the WNBA product and also becoming a fan of the game for watching those three individuals, because all these three players, and it's so crazy because all these three players could have been on the Olympics. And it's so crazy that neither of these three players were on the Olympics. And the shot-making ability, the separation ability, the creation ability from passing and also scoring, and also the handle ability is NBA product-like. When we talk about genders, when we talk about watching, and I played college basketball, I played high school basketball, and it was at times where we had on the women's team, when we run and we scrimmage, and we had, regardless of gender, where we had players competing and running 3-on-3s and 5-on-5s. It was times where there was girls on the basketball court who had better skill sets and overall talent than some of the guys on the basketball court, but they just have the athleticism, of course, because, the makeup and things of that nature as a male compared to a woman is different for his athleticism. But at the same time, from a skill set standpoint and from a shooting ability, and if you did a skills competition, Kelsey Mitchell, Arike, and Caitlin Clark, they can compete against men when we talk about strictly off a skill set. That's how lethal these women are. That's how talented they are. That's how smooth and bucket getters they are. And their isolation wizards and handle ability is viewed very, 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 very uncanny. And they're unguardable. And they're some of the three best talents, pure talents and pure skill and pure hoopers that the WNBA has. But this game was special. This game was phenomenal. And once again, you wanted franchise value to go up. You wanted quality of life for WNBA players to go up. First class, charter flights, all those things. You wanted more money to increase for players in the WNBA. It's called Clarkonomics because now you have the greatest generator in the WNBA history, and it is all these women are going to be a byproduct for her success. And it's going to allow all those great things to happen because she is box office. She is one-on-one. She is the chosen one for the WNBA that's going to make a lot of great shit happen. Whether you like it or not, you have to respect it. And then that's just off the court. When we talk about on the court, the game speaks for herself. 35 points, career season high, 6 threes made, passing ability, one of the greatest playmakers we ever seen, regardless of gender. She is a pure hooper. She is the best generator this league has ever seen. She is one-on-one. Give credit when credit is due. Clarkonomics is happening in the league. And we're seeing attendance grow. We're seeing merchandise sales increase. We're seeing all this great things happen for the WNBA due to Caitlin Clark. And she's a top 7 player in this game. And I saw I was used to being modest by saying top 10. I'm being modest by saying top 7 because we can really get to a situation where she's already top 5 and pushing upward to the top 3 when her game is locked on and she is making shots and her playmaking and passing ability are all in unison. Like, it's special. It's special. It's special, special, special times. And we got to give credit when credit is due. Amazing game, amazing talent was on display. And how can you not be a fan? 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 The Indiana Fever stopped their 2-game losing streak because they played the Las Vegas Aces. And the unfortunate thing about those past 2 games were they got down, but they still, crawled their way back and to try to compete and make it into the game and stuff like that. But this is what you want to see when you're an Indiana Fever fan. And if you're an Indiana Fever, it's just like you don't want to lose on your home court. That energy, that buzz, that arena is very electric. And the crowd and the roster and the team, the Indiana Fever, they feed off of that energy of the crowd. They feed off of playing in that arena. And you never want to lose on your home court. If you want to lose, you don't want to lose on your home court. And that home court for Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever, is a 6-man. But some of the things I want to talk about, because we talk about the great things, but some of the things that the Indiana Fever, they have to continue to improve on, and I'm going to keep saying it, is because when games slowed down a little bit and they weren't able to get their fast break transition going and the pace of space, even though they had a career high for as a team, for threes made this game for the regular season, you had to still get involved Aaliyah Boston. She only had 15 points and 6 rebounds, but you can dump her the ball, and especially when the game is slowing down, because the turnovers, they were up by like 6 or 7, and then Caitlin Clark was handing the ball and trying to make these crazy plays. Sometimes it's just best to slow the game down. Slow the game down, run a set through Aaliyah Boston and get her a bucket, let her get fouled, let her suck the defenders in and pass it out because she's the best passing center in the league. But we can't have crazy turnovers in the game, because especially in those closing moments, because they almost gave that game away, especially when a fire offensive powerhouse like the Dallas Wings, where you got 3 bucket getters in Shelby and Arike and also Howard, who can put the ball in the hoop as well, they're going to fight to until that clock says 0. And David Coates, yes, 35, go Caitlin. She was a bucket. She was a problem. She was a force. Like, she is one of the she today she had it on. Everything was clicking on all cylinders, and it was fun to witness. It was fun to watch. And anytime that it's football season, we're watching WNBA, and there's no disrespect to the WNBA, but that just goes to show you the element and importance and what's in entertainment and what Caitlin Clark has done for the WNBA. Because if you ask people, and it's going to be crazy when we see the ratings come out in a few games, but it's going to be crazy when this Indiana Fever game is competing with the NFL, with some of the NFL games. When we look at the ratings, it's going to be insane. And that just goes to show you her impact and the way she's changing the game and the way she's changing the league and her being one of the biggest draws in sports, regardless of basketball. We're talking about all the sports. She's one of the biggest draws. And she's everything the WNBA has ever wanted in a player. And we're seeing it and all the numbers, all the merchandise, all the data, all the product on the basketball court. We're seeing it in real time with Caitlin Clark. Warren Clark very loose with the ball down the stretch. Exactly, Warren. That's Warren Steele. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Caitlin Clark has to understand, like, down the stretch, you don't always have to play so fast, but that's also of her having to understand and develop going forward, because at the end of the day, for Caitlin Clark, she is a rookie. The scary thing about it is we're talking about I think she's a top 7 player in this league. Being modest by saying top 7, she can be top 5 in some people's eyes, because especially the way that Sabrina's been playing, Unescu. Don't even get me started on that. She's been really stinking it up for the New York Liberty these past few games. But you have to understand, Caitlin Clark is a rookie. She needs to develop, and she's going to develop. And she also has, as smart as she is, it's still rookie mistakes that she's making, and that's understandable. But she's going to have to understand that not everything you don't have to always go and play at 1,000 miles per hour, especially when you have Boston. But this is also part of the coaching staff as well, to say, you know what, Caitlin Clark, slow it down, run some time off the clock, get it in the post, get it to your big man, run a set through Boston, like, who plays in the post. That's also that's for the coach, and that's also on the player for Caitlin Clark, because we know the point guard is, she's the byproduct to the coach. She's the coach on the floor. Like, when we talk about in the huddle and things of that nature, the coaches are running plays, are running their plays and their sets through the point guard, which is Caitlin Clark. So they have to get on the same page, and they have to link up and making sure that in the waning moments when things are close, that you are not putting yourself in a situation where you're going to harm your team and allow, like this game where they were up by 6-7 points with like 1:25 left, and they almost lost the game because Caitlin Clark was very, very loose with the ball. South 2 puts on a quiet show for the Morris Arike. Yes, South 2 was Dallas is tough, man. They're tough, and I hope South 2 she goes back to Dallas, because this was a team, they had a lot of injuries. The year before that, they had won like 20-something odd games. Like, they were really hooping the year before that, but they had a lot of injuries. But Arike is something special. Like, she had a career night as well, fastest ever to reach 4,000 points. She is a bucket. She's the best shot creator in the league. South 2 coming back for the Dallas Wings, giving them another elite player, somebody that can take some of the responsibility off of Arike as well. We know Howard, she is phenomenal. Offense, defense as well. I love her game. They have something special building in Dallas, and it's crazy. They're going to be in a lottery team, and they may have an opportunity to get Paige, which is going to be crazy to even think about. And that's also a reason. I have an issue with the WNBA, because there's no reason why that the team out in let's just talk about it. Forrest Paige Beckers. Paige is most likely going to be the number one overall pick drafted in the WNBA next season. Paige Becker is going to be that number 1 overall pick. Dallas Wings are going to possibly hold that number 1 overall pick. This is why we talk about the WNBA as a business where it lacks compared to the NBA. Do you think that David Stern will allow the Dallas Wings to get Paige over the new team? The Golden State? They're going to be San Francisco Valkyrie or something. I don't know the name of it. Something with a V. But do you think they will allow this Dallas Wings team to draft Paige and not give the number 1 overall pick to the San Francisco team, which is going to be an expansion team next year? It makes no sense, and I think the expansion team is going to get a locked in as the 5th pick overall. Why are you giving the expansion team the 5th pick and not the number 1 overall pick? It makes no sense business-wise. Also makes no sense team-wise, where you can have opportunity to place another future star that's going to compete against Caitlin Clark going forward as one of the most popular players in the league, and also probably a potential rivalry. And then you got Juju coming along in a few years as well. It doesn't make sense for a business-wise for you to allow the Dallas Wings to draft Paige when they already got Arike and Howard and Santu, who's probably going to re-sign with them as well. It doesn't make sense at all. What y'all saying? Her record list is insane. Reading it is like reading a short story. David Coast. Yes. Caitlin Clark is phenomenal. Her records, the records she's breaking, the things that she's doing is very, very special. She's one-on-one. Like, she's a problem. Like, and that's why when we talk about Forrest, Caitlin Clark low-key is having the greatest rookie season in WNBA history. And I had a conversation about this on last stream. I know people are going to talk about Candace Parker. And this is going off of David. Her record list is insane. Reading it is like reading a short story. David is absolutely 100%, 1,000%, 1,000,000% correct, because the fact of the matter is, when we look at Caitlin Clark and we look at the things that she's doing in comparisons to Candace Parker, even though Candace Parker won Rookie of the Year and the MVP. So overall, off of that, automatically, she has the greatest rookie season ever because she won MVP. But if you look at Clark's numbers, her numbers for his field goal percentage isn't as great as Candace Parker, but you got to remember Candace Parker was a wing. She was more of a big man. And the volume of her three-point percentage, because she shot like 50% from the field and also like 40% for the three-point line, but the volume also matters. And that's when we talk about context. A lot of people tend to leave out context when they talk about these conversations. Clark's volume and difficulty of shots that she takes in comparison to in comparison to Candace Parker is totally different. And also the team makeup, where the Sparks were a phenomenal team. Lisa Leslie just got pregnant. That's why they got the number 1 pick and got Candace Parker. And then her and Lisa Leslie were dominating. And it was like they didn't miss a beat. So that also matters. We look at what Caitlin Clark has brought to the Indiana Fever. They're going to the playoffs for the first time since 2016. Caitlin Clark was a freshman in high school. Caitlin Clark is breaking all these records as a rookie. Caitlin Clark has the responsibility for being a generator, which is one of the hardest roles in basketball in general, regardless of gender. Being a generator and having a sole responsibility of scoring and passing and having to do that on a nightly basis is one of the hardest and most difficult roles in the history of basketball. That's what Caitlin Clark does for the Indiana Fever. That's what LeBron James has done for the bulk of his career. That's what Luka Doncic does for the Dallas Mavericks. That's what James Harden did in his prime with the Houston Rockets. That's what Giannis Antetokounmpo does for the Milwaukee Bucks. When you're a generator, that means the overall contribution for his points, for his scoring, and then for other players for his rebounds as well and defense. So when we talk about Caitlin Clark as a player, we're talking about her level of responsibility is like some of the greatest players this league has ever seen for us, like the game of basketball in general. It's very, very difficult, very, very special, very, very unique. And that's why she's one-on-one. And also my boy Trae Young. Don't forget Trae Young as well. Put him in that category as well as having one of the most difficult play styles and levels of responsibility in across the basketball landscape, regardless of gender. Like it's very special what she's doing right now, but very, very hard. So when you look at who had the better rookie season or why Caitlin Clark has an argument for being the best rookie of all time, it's because of what I just mentioned. She has a record for the most records broken as a rookie. Yup. Flagrant foul. CC was flagrant foul again. Engelbert needs to start suspending people to do this. People got to tighten up a deep. They have a tough first matchup against the Suns. They do. Because the Connecticut Suns prevent a lot of problems for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, especially for Caitlin Clark, though, and saying they need to tighten up the defense. They need to tighten up the defense and also Caitlin Clark's turnovers as well, because the Connecticut Sun, they have bodies. And the Indiana Fever struggle with teams that are athletic and has size and length. That's why they struggle with the Los Angeles Aces. That's why they just beat the Connecticut Sun for the first time in the last 8 matchups about 2 weeks ago, because they struggle against teams with size and length and athleticism. And the Connecticut Sun is a bad matchup for Caitlin Clark and the Fever due to the fact that they got 5 players that can guard Caitlin Clark. So Caitlin Clark is not going to be matched up with one per primary defender. She's going to be matched up against 4 or 5. Bonner can guard her. Alyssa Thomas can guard her. Dejanay Carrington can guard her. They got players they can throw at Caitlin Clark, and also they can switch on the PNR and switch and get over the top, because they're not going to play drop coverage on Caitlin Clark. They got the length, they got the size. So it's going to be very tough if that's who they match up with in the first round, for sure. But, man, yeah, it was a great game. I'm not going to be on here too long. Very fun, very phenomenal game. If you're new to this channel, it's your boy, Arike Smith. Make sure you go like, comment, and subscribe. Please subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Run it up. Trying to get this to 1,000 subs. We're almost at 800. Almost there. Trying to get this keep this popping, keep this going for the remainder of the regular season for the WNBA and then the playoffs as well. And then we go into the NBA season. We locked in on every big-time matchup every single night. Every big-time matchup for it's a national TV game. We will be covering. We will be talking about the game of basketball. So it's not just going to be the WNBA. It's going to be the NBA as well. Still going to bring out some more fire content when the WNBA does kind of slow down and the playoffs are over with as well, especially when the Fever are out. Unless they do the unthinkable. I don't know. I give them a chance, depending on who they match up. I think they got a chance to possibly have a first-round upset. I think they have a chance. They have a shot. But after that, they have a shot. But I don't know if they're going to get it done. We'll see. But make sure you go like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Arike Smith. If you're new to this channel, I released my second children's book called Becoming Kobe Bryant. Tell a friend to tell a friend. If you got a nephew, a niece, a son, a daughter, whatever the case may be, on Barnes & Noble. This is hardcover. Go cop that. Go tell a friend. Word of mouth is key. I appreciate all y'all. And I'm up out of here, man. I'm gone. Peace. Salute. Thanks for the Truth Teller chat game. I appreciate all y'all getting in the chat. And we out. Till next time.